Good morning. It's the middle of the week. Can you believe it already? The 15th of January. Another cool day in Minnesota. Whew. I got some heat, got some real heat from people yesterday. Apparently, I wasn't compassionate enough for the people that have lost their homes and property and things in California to the wildfires. And I'll say, that I guess that may be the case that didn't come across or whatever, and that certainly wasn't my intent. But the idea is that it was Trump's fault, and that's what I was kind of pointing out, specifically that. But if you say that I don't understand and I don't know in a situation like that, and you're just without asking the question, do you understand? You're completely wrong. I do know the devastation of a fire. I had completely lost. So let me just say, this piece of furniture right here in the bookcase behind me, I built those. This is a prototype that's next to me of a huge entertainment center. And I used to be in the wood excuse me, in the woodworking business, specifically custom furniture, for a very long time. And 6.5 months after I lost my daughter in her car crash, my business burned to the ground. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but don't just assume that people don't understand. And I don't just mean that me in general, but it's so automatic for us to say you don't understand and you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and try to just project our own kind of shortcomings and feelings onto other people. But which leads me to this topic. Someone had said that, I really I can't remember. I should have pulled up the note, but I can't really remember exactly how it was said. But what I kind of summarized it as is that, they wanted to have a stress and problem-free life like I did. And, this has been a very challenging year, a lot of changes. Plans were in motion to do one thing at the beginning of 2024, and through basically in late spring-ish, that completely changed. And then I bought shinybrand.com as the website, and am getting into this full-time, no holds barred, no plan B, sell whatever I don't really need to function, kind of going into this thing, period. This is I'm all in at my age, and together we can do this and make this successful, because I just keep getting asked to come back and communicate with different student groups or whatever about the things that I've been through. So please don't just assume, no matter who it is in your life, whether you know them or you run into them at the gas station, don't assume that you know anything. That's garbage. So stress-free, problem-free, not even close. It's the way I see it is there's 3 ways that we can be. So did you ever hear about the pessimist, the optimist, and the realist sitting at the bar? One of them suggested that they go for a walk. There was something on the other side of town. They wanted to walk to the other side of town. So they all leave the bar and they're on their way. And so the optimist is looking up and they're walking along, and it's like, wow, it's a beautiful day, and look at the silver lining on the clouds and all this kind of stuff. And then the realist and the pessimist don't hear the optimist anymore. They turn around, and the optimist fell in an open manhole, didn't see it coming. So then they keep going, the realist and the pessimist, and they're looking. The pessimist is looking down, and he's walking along and like, this is great. This is a good path. I have my footing. I can see I'm not going to fall in a manhole, right? You get the picture. Bam! I-beam clocks him in the head, knocks him over, passed out. The realist is looking around all the time, up and down and left and right, and trying to look at things through different lenses and through the eyes of the optimist, through the eyes of the pessimist, and all those things. And that's really what I try to do, try to be real about it. And see, the way I see it is you can't have a stress-free life or a problem-free life. It is all how you solve those problems, those stresses. And so you either can work on solving them and keep going, or you can just totally shut down, shut the door, pull the blinds, so to speak, and hibernate. Well, both of those things are going to hurt. You're going to have things to when you keep going, it's going to hurt, and when you close everything off, it's going to hurt. I think, it's my opinion in my life, it's better to actually trudge through and get through the things maybe quicker, face them head on rather than avoid them and things. I think that pain, in my opinion, is completely less. So just remember to keep going. That's what I have to say about that kind of thing, that you live a stress-free and problem-free life. It really is how we look at it. Tackle one problem at a time, and that one nucleus of a problem, there are multiple solutions all throughout that problem that have ways that we can solve the one thing. You get a flat tire, you can call a friend, you can call a tow truck, you can change it yourself. Lots of solutions. You get the idea. We haven't gotten into, so God's love manifests, that phrase has been apparently a good phrase, and people have really latched onto that manifest. So I expanded it a little bit on that manifestation in our lives of what God's love is and what it can look like based off of Scripture. And as you know, we're looking at and kind of studying what about the love of God? That was the topic originally, and what is love then, more specifically. And I am tackling this based off of what Scripture says, not the world, not the Merriam-Webster's dictionary or anything like that, but specifically what it is based off of Scripture. So here's the sentence. God's love manifests itself in his own affliction when his loved ones are afflicted, even when that affliction is delivered by his own hand. So we talked about discipline and things yesterday, but when he delivers, when we as parents, if you're a parent, we deliver punishment to our kids, it hurts us too. We feel bad about it, but we know that it's for the good, less harm in the future kind of thing. So it says in Isaiah 63, in all their distress, he, being God, a capital H, was distressed. And the angel of his presence, again, God, capital H, his presence saved them. And his love, God again, and his mercy, God again, he redeemed them. And he lifted them and carried them all the days of old. So even though the punishment came and it was distress for his people and for us, it hurt him, but yet he lifted them up and carried them. It's powerful that we have to understand that. Here's one that, as I dug into it, this hurt my heart pretty bad. People were saying and gave me comments, and actually several direct messages. Well, God forgot me, and he's, I haven't seen him in my life, and things like that. So the general consensus is God, God's love isn't in my life because he forgot me. And as I started to look into this and think about this, I found Isaiah 49, and I'm going to read that first, and then I'm going to go back to the sentence or the paragraph that I have about how God's love manifests with, even though even though we think he is forgetting about us, and how that manifests. But Isaiah 49, can a woman forget her nursing child and have no compassion on the son of her womb. Even these may forget, but I will not forget you. Behold, I have inscribed you on the palms of my hands. Your walls are continually before me. And that first part, can a woman forget her nursing child? I didn't believe it. But there is a tremendous amount of evidence all over the place in different crime videos on it. I was stunned at the things that people have forgotten with their own children, what they've done to their own children. I'm not going to go into those details. We've probably all heard some of those things similar, but that was powerful. How this is like, that there's no way that can happen, but we see a lot of evidence to the contrary. So God's love is manifested in his never forgetting those he loves. Because it seems to us that he forgets us from time to time. I get that, but he never does. Scripture says that he absolutely never forgets us. Tomorrow, since we're at 11 minutes already, what I have is how God's love manifests itself by his making the greatest sacrifice. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. I had a question, and I got a text here. Let me just make sure I'm reading it correctly. What's up with this morning hair thing? Well, let me explain it then like this. Actually, imagine that you're in let's say you and 30 friends or whatever, a large group of friends are at a lake and you've rented all these cabins. I know 30 friends is a stretch for me too. I mean, I maybe have 2 or 3, but let's imagine a large group, and you rent all these cabins on a lakefront, and in the morning you go to breakfast at some central area, whatever that might be, a pavilion or so on. And so you're around having breakfast, and this is the conversation. Like, you roll out of bed, you haven't brushed your teeth or brushed your hair or anything like that yet, and it's just like, hey, what do you think about this topic? It's not about fact checking, it's not about showing articles. It's simply about just having that conversation and things. So make sure you keep sending your messages to me so that we can have those conversations. I've got a list of some really tough topics that people don't want to publicly talk about. So I'm happy to talk about them. I think it's important to talk about them. So we will see you tomorrow morning, 6:30.